If your fat loss progress has felt slower than it should be, then I'm going to walk you through the most common mistakes I've seen people make after working with over 500 men and women the last 10 years, so you can see faster results moving into 2026. So let's get straight into this. The first problem is just eating at random times. While meal timing doesn't really matter for fat loss, overall calorie consumption needs to be the priority. It will help you build more routine and discipline. So allow me to explain. At the moment, if you're just eating whenever you fancy it, if you have breakfast or lunch or dinner and then a few snacks throughout the day, but there's no real timing or consistency to what you're doing, more than likely your energy, but also appetite is regulating all over the place. Also, so is your discipline levels. You just find yourself picking and constantly grazing throughout the whole day. So the first thing I would suggest doing is just establishing some regular meal times. For example, let's say you're going to have breakfast around 7 or 8 in the morning. You're going to have lunch between 11 and 12, or maybe 12 and 1. You might have an afternoon snack around 3, potentially dinner 7 or 8, and then you might be done for the day, or you might have a little snack after dinner. But if you can get used to meal timing, it will help you build more discipline. You'll also find that your appetite will start to regulate at similar times every day, making it easier to actually adhere to your overall calorie intake. So the second most common mistake: too many calories being put into your snacks. Now, it sounds pretty obvious, but what most people do is they'll have a really small lunch because they're trying to lose body fat. They'll have a really small dinner, but then they just find themselves consistently grazing throughout the whole day. So what I would suggest doing is actually flipping that ratio. And let's say your aim is to eat 2,000 calories a day. You want to put at least 70 or 80% of your calories into your main meals at the absolute minimum. So between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, put in a good 15, 16, 1700 calories across these 3 meals. You'll feel a lot more full and satisfied. You can put a lot more nutrients within these meals, so you're going to be better for your overall diet. And then give yourself the remainder 200, 300, 400 calories to have a couple snacks throughout the day. This is really going to fit a lot nicer when it comes to your adherence, your energy, your appetite. Results will generally be better if you put more calories into your main meals. Number 3 is being a perfectionist. Most people just get in their own way. They'll go out on a Friday, they'll have an off-plan meal, maybe a dessert, maybe a couple drinks, and then just assume that they've screwed up the entire week. So the rest of the weekend, generally speaking, is a bit of a write-off. Now, for the vast majority of clients I work with, we have at least 2 to 3 off-plan meals a week, and they still get results. I always tell people to focus on the majority, not the minority. Now, if you're trying to get absolutely shredded in a very short period of time, then yes, you might need to be a perfectionist. But for 99% of people, that's really not the case. So my suggestion would be is that you just get out your own way. You have 1 or 2 off-plan meals a week. Stop building a negative mindset around it. If anything, these situations can be helpful for long-term maintenance and improving your relationship with food. And they can also be really helpful for long-term consistency. If you can have a little bit of what you like throughout the week while sort of adhering to your day-to-day diet, is really going to help with the overall enjoyment of what you're doing. And finally, probably one of the biggest mistakes I see will be prioritizing things in the wrong order. It needs to go calories, steps, cardio. More often than not, when it comes to fat loss and focusing on additional calories being burnt, most people will do cardio and then steps, and then focus on their calories. And the calories are not the biggest priority, therefore that they don't really know how much they're consuming, and they just assume they're burning more than they're eating, but more often than not, this is not the case. So get your calories in alignment with where they should be based on your current body weight. Most people's calorie intake is determined on how much they weigh. Simply put it, the heavier you are, the heavier your calorie intake will be, as you have more mass to maintain, so your body requires more calories to maintain that mass. An easy way of working this out is grab your body weight in pounds, times it by roughly 10 to 12, and this is going to be your rough starting calories. This may need to be slightly adjusted depending on how active or inactive you are, but it will give you a good starting point. From there then, you can add in additional steps. Every 5,000 steps on average, depending on your body weight, is going to burn roughly 200 to 300 calories, and then adding in additional cardio on top throughout the week will burn a few extra 100, potentially even 1,000 calories, depending on how much cardio you're doing. So doing more cardio, doing more steps, there's huge benefits for this when it comes to weight loss. But calories in v calories out need to be the initial priority, or you're going to feel like you're putting in a lot of effort elsewhere, not really see results, probably get a little bit disheartened. So in summary, have structure with your meals and have regular times in which you would eat each day. This will help with discipline and regulating your appetite better. Put the majority of the calories that you have into your main meals. so that you actually snack less. You will have more control if you actually just have a bigger lunch and dinner, and your overall calorie intake for the day will be lower. Stop being a perfectionist and just get out your own way. Understand that sometimes things are not going to go according to plan. You're going to have social events, you're going to have different trips coming up, and these things, if anything, should be enjoyed and just worked around. And lastly, put things in priority order. It has to be calories first if your goal is to lose body fat. Now, hope you found that helpful. Of course, if you did, just give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. You're going to see plenty of more content coming out over the next few months. And lastly, if you want more personalized support, achieving your goals and achieve some of the results like you can see here on screen, then tap on the link just below this video, answer a few quick questions about your goals, and I'll be in touch to give you more information on how I can help you on more of a personal level. I'll speak to you soon, and I'll see you in the next video.